Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Yes, it's the Good Old Days of Radio show, and we are going to do something different today. For those of you who are regular listeners, we are going to go well into the weeds on sound restoration, and there's a specific reason for that. But before I explain all of that, let me just say this is Joel Tefteller in the Good Old Days of Radio show, and we are doing a special program today. We are going to have two guests. We're going to have Corey Harker, who is the current president of SPERDVAC, and I'm going to stop for a second and explain, because I don't know that everybody listens to this podcast knows what SPERDVAC was and is. And if I get anything wrong, Corey, you can jump in and tell me, but I'm going to do this from memory. SPERDVAC was founded, I believe, in 1974 by Jerry Hendigas, Jim Coons, and some others. And if you know the others, you can tell me. But anyway, it stands for the Society to Preserve and Encourage Radio, Drama, Variety, and Comedy. And I joined the organization in 1975. I am member number 116. I don't know how many members there are now, but I would guess several thousand. Corey can enlighten us on that if he knows. I would assume he knows. But anyway, the purpose of the organization originally, back in the mid-70s, was to simply gather up a bunch of vintage radio shows. At that time, it was on reel-to-reel and cassette, and have a repository for those to be traded and sent out from SPERDVAC to the members of SPERDVAC to be shared amongst the members. There was always a small fee for the rental of the reels or the cassettes, and you actually would get them in the mail. You would have a week or so to make copies of whatever they were, and then you would send them back to SPERDVAC, and they'd send them to somebody else. And this went on for quite a number of years until I think we've entered the digital age at some point. I missed that, but at some point we entered the digital age, and I don't think they send them out actual reels or cassettes anymore. I think it's all some kind of download thing, but Corey can explain that. In any case, one of the things that I always tried to emphasize within SPERDVAC, and I became quite active in the organization way early on, was the P in SPERDVAC, which stood for preservation. And unfortunately, in a way, I got a lot of flack from a lot of the other board members at the time, and even some of the members, because they weren't really that concerned about preservation. They were concerned about sucking up as many vintage radio shows as they could in any kind of possible sound, just so they could make it out and hear it. And I never wanted to go that way. I always thought the organization should go into a more preservation mode, take advantage of the area in which SPERDVAC originated, which was the Los Angeles County area, where there was access to lots of original radio transcription discs and much more great-sounding material. And we had a bit of a battle over the years with that. They finally settled on something to the effect of saying, well, you're the guy complaining, why don't you do this? So they put me in charge of their archives library, separate from their general library, and I proceeded to fill it up with as many high-quality sounding recordings as I could get. And I spent a bunch of time making transfers of original transcription discs. I spent a bunch of time traveling around Los Angeles to various radio celebrities' homes, getting those transcription discs and allowing them to be transferred for SPERDVAC. So the archives library became my thing, so to speak, until I moved to Oregon in 1987 and gave that all up, and somebody took it on, and it goes from there. In any case, I have to be happy now because the new generation of SPERDVAC leaders seem to have refocused themselves on preservation, and that's a great thing. So anyway, that's SPERDVAC. You can join SPERDVAC, and Corey will give you all that information when he comes on here and talks at some point. We'll probably give it out a couple times during the course of this podcast. But you can join SPERDVAC, and you can take advantage of the audio libraries that they have available and get yourself some radio programs that way. And they also have a monthly newsletter, and they have meetings that occur sometimes and a convention now and then. So there's ways to connect, so to speak. In any case, the current president of SPERDVAC is Corey Harker, and welcome to the Good Old Days of Radio podcast, Corey Harker.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, John. Excited to be here and talk a little bit about what's going on in classic radio, at least in SPERDVAC's eyes.
Did I get all that pretty much right in my explanations?
Yeah, I think you nailed it pretty well.
Okay. Well, it's been a long time. I started in 1975, and it's now 2025, so 40 years ago or whatever that is, 50 years ago.
All that work that you did for the original archives library is now our general library.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Good.
Yep. And then all the new stuff we're doing is the new archives library.
Oh.
So we're trying to separate those things and get everything, back on track with our new download system and everything. So yeah, it's coming along real nice. We got a nice board, great board actually, who is totally focused on preservation.
Hooray!
We're actually looking for grants because for some reason nobody had ever done that.
Well, I can tell you what the reason was. They didn't want to do it. The original philosophy of the board of directors in the mid-'70s, late '70s, and into the '80s was that absolutely no one should receive any money for anything, that it should be a strictly volunteer organization, 100% through and through, and that if the grants were applied for and achieved, some people might get paid to administer those grants, and that was not fair to everybody else, so no grants.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, but that's not what we're doing now.
Yay. Okay. Well,
I mean,
you sound like I did 40 years ago. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and now sitting in the president's chair, so to speak, I'm glad that we're able to kind of lead that way. The last board was great as far as starting that and getting SPERDVAC on even footing again, because the way it was going, I guess at one point, with all the expenditures, we would have been broke probably next year or the year after. That's not the case any longer. We're in good shape.
Yay.
Members are growing again. They're seeing that we're doing things. And I think that was part of the problem for the past couple decades is that the club was resting on its laurels, I guess. Not a whole lot of activity. People were primarily just keeping their memberships to keep the radiogram, which of course is an amazing newsletter that everyone likes to read. So I'm grateful for that, but we have a lot more to offer than the radiogram, and it's time to bring all that out again. So,
all right, so that people can kind of do this and check this out, how do they check out SPERDVAC?
Well, they can come to SPERDVAC.com. That's
SPERDVAC.com. Okay.
Yep. SPERDVAC.com. And you can sign up right there. All the links are right there on the front page to do that. We are building a brand new web portal at this point. I was hoping it would be done by the end of the month, but it looks like it will be a couple weeks after. We have some talented people on the board who are younger than I am, probably about 12 to 15 years younger than I am, who are really good with that kind of stuff. Now I'm 52, so I don't feel too old yet. But
by the time this actually is available to the public, you might be done, because I think we're several weeks out on this. Is that correct, Daniel? Yeah, several weeks out. So maybe just tell them to check the website. Maybe it'll be there.
Yeah, just check it out there. We're going to have all kinds of neat things up there. We're going to have radiograms online for, I don't know, probably since the beginning. We've got all that stuff scanned. The script library will be available for people to download stuff. And all the work that you did for the archives library will be available. So yeah, it's going to be kind of an interesting community where people can actually talk to us.
Great.
I want to make sure that we keep an open, conversation with our members, because I want to know what they think and what they think we should be doing. So, going to California here. As you say, by this time I'll probably be back in Minnesota, but going to California for my fourth trip to the archives to continue to sort everything out, identify what needs to be transferred first for preservation, and go from there. So,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
all right. So that's a little bit about SPERDVAC and Corey. And in fact, much of what we do in the beginning of this show involves SPERDVAC and Corey. And then after that, we're going to kind of go off into the weeds more for those that are really interested in sound restoration. That may not be for everybody. In fact, it isn't for everybody. And that's kind of my point with what I'll bring out as we keep going. It's not for everybody. It's something that's a really difficult thing to do. And I keep seeing on Facebook in the old time radio pages, people saying, well, I just got these shows and I've got this new software and I'm going to go about and I'm going to start restoring shows. And it's like, yeah, that's a nice idea in a way, but it's not good. Because unless you're following a real specific plan that actually has been proven to work, you're kind of doing the same thing that folks did back in the late 70s and 80s and into the 90s when they were attempting to use equalization and different sound techniques back then that were very amateur compared to what we have today. And they wound up just screwing up mountains of radio shows by making them very strange sounding. And so I'm not one to advocate for just anybody picking up whatever audio tools they can find and just start applying them to radio programs without a whole lot of careful thought and consultation with those who really do know how to do it. Otherwise, we're going to wind up with a bunch of butchered shows again that still don't sound good. You're following that, right, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, and I also have my son here present, Joel Tefteller, because Joel Tefteller does my audio restorations for my Marx Brothers project. He's also worked on a number of things. American Epic, which was a PBS 6-part special on vintage music from the 20s and 30s. He's also done restoration for my own Blues Images CD series and learned restoration from kind of the ground up. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But anyway, welcome Joel Tefteller to the Good Old Days of Radio Show podcast.
Hello, it's me. I'm here.
Okay.
I did it.
You're here. All right. And you're going to kind of tell a little bit about what you do to restore shows. Corey's going to talk about what he does to restore shows. And we're going to do a kind of a on-the-air sort of very nicely critique each other, I guess is the word, to try to come up with a method that works, that everybody can use. And we'll see. I don't know. It may not work because it's what we do, Corey, is kind of almost dramatically different from what you do. And I'm not even really sure what you do, but you're going to explain it and then we'll explain what we do. And we'll see if we can't meet in the middle somewhere with something. But anyway. All right. So, and the focus of the show today is an episode of Quiet Please, one of my all-time favorite radio shows ever, and one of everybody's all-time favorite radio shows. Most everybody that likes vintage radio likes this series because it's just so weird and so well done that you can't help but be intrigued by it. What we're going to do is play a little bit of examples, Corey will do this, of the show before any kind of restoration was applied to it. And then we'll hear the actual show as restored by Corey. And then we'll kind of talk about restoration in general. And for all you Marx Brothers fans out there, and we're going to publicize this podcast at the Marx Brothers Facebook groups and all that, we're going to tease you a little bit with a little bit of Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel, unrestored and then mostly restored. And it'll show kind of what we're doing on restoration from that end. And hopefully Corey can learn something and we can learn something from him and it'll all work out okay. So that's the plan for the show. And I don't want to take people too far into the weeds until we actually hear a radio show, because they may want to tune out after that. I don't want them to tune out after that, but they may want to, because they may have no interest in all this restoration stuff and may not care whatsoever. But there will be a certain percentage of people that will listen to this that will be very intrigued, and people who have any desire to embark on this course of audio restoration. Boy, this is the show for you. You will get something out of this, no matter what stage you are in thinking about doing all that. So let's go to Quiet Please for a second. And Corey, you do have an example that we can insert here of the pre-restored version of this particular show, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do.
All right. Okay, so the story of Quiet Please and the transcription discs has to be one of the saddest stories out there in relation to transcription discs. Back in the 70s or so, there was a handful of Quiet Please shows that turned up from, I believe, the WOR collection in New York. The legendary radio historian and raconteur J. David Golden had access to the WOR archives in New York, and in plowing through the transcription discs there, came across, I think it was a half a dozen or so episodes of Quiet Please that were in a pretty good state of preservation. They were not all messed up like most of the ones out there. And those became making the rounds of the collector's circles for quite some time. The sort of legends around the series achieved even more legendary status when people got to hear these dozen or half dozen episodes that had come up, including what is probably the most famous one of all time, which everybody knows as the thing on the floorboard. So that's where that originated. Fast forward from the mid-70s or so when those first episodes appeared, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, and I believe this was sometime in the late 90s or so, a whole run, not complete run, but a whole run of Quiet Please episodes hit the collector's circles. They originated with Mrs. Ernest Chappell. Ernest Chappell is the voice on many of the shows. Ernest Chappell's wife, who was still alive and had recordings of the show, which she had apparently kept in not so great storage conditions, and they were covered in dust and grime and dirt and nonsense, and sat somewhere for a long time without being touched. Well, somehow it was brought to her attention that these might be interesting for collectors to hear. She contacted a student at the University of Florida and brought the transcription discs into the University of Florida, into, I guess, their radio station or wherever they had a way to play a 16-inch transcription. And she had them transferred from the original discs onto cassettes, of all things, cassettes. The engineer that did it was some kind of college student there who didn't really understand audio preservation in any way, shape, or form. All he did was drop the needle on the original transcriptions and let them go. Without cleaning them, without doing any kind of anything, just let them go. And because they were caked in dirt and dust and nonsense for 40 years prior, they didn't sound very good. They had a whole lot of noises and distortion and everything else. But those were the cassettes that were made, and then those cassettes found their way into the hands of, J. David Golden, the legendary radio raconteur, and he made some reel-to-reel copies, and out they went to the world. The original discs have now disappeared. The story is that they were given back to Mrs. Chappell. She sent them up to the Museum of Broadcasting at the Paley Center in New York. The Paley Center does not retain transcription discs. They serve as a facilitator, and they facilitated them down to the Library of Congress, and somewhere, either along the way or when they got to the Library of Congress, they have vanished, and they are no longer available to anyone we know of to go back and redo them. They may even no longer exist. We don't even know. All we know is the last place they are known to have been was the Paley Center, and now they're gone. So that is what we've had to listen to and suffer through for the last 20 or so years. So I guess recently, and now I'm going to turn this over to Corey, recently you decided to do something about this, so tell us what you did.
Yeah, well, basically, the Quiet Please came out of another project that I'm working on and I'm almost finished with. And that's will be released at some point here in the next month. But I spent 5 years trying to learn different techniques as to reduce the noise and whatnot and make it, intelligible to listen to the thing, because half the Quiet Please is the problem is you can't make it through the program because by the time you get fatigued, right? You get audio fatigue
Yeah, well,
from all the crackling.
you can try to get through it, and you can. It's just, you're like, okay, I guess it was worth it. It's a great story. It's a great show, but man, it's a slog getting through it. Yes.
So, my journey basically took me through several different audio programs. And the thing is, you were mentioning before that somebody gets one program and they think that's going to fix everything. There is no one program fixes all. It just doesn't. It could be, RX, anything in Adobe Audition, and a lot of people like to use that. Any of these things. You use them for certain types of noise. After a while, you start to learn what they work best at, and every show has a different type of noise. So essentially what happened was I wanted to fix one of the I guess I might as well just put it out there now. I wanted to fix War of the Worlds. And it has bugged me for years that there are probably 6 or 7 disc copies out there, whether they're in 78 or they're copies. There was a couple copies, I think, that came out in 47 that were duplicates.
Yeah, I got one here that a listener to our podcast, just sent me.
Oh, really?
Yep. 2 16-inch discs that she said her father made when he was working at an Iowa radio station in the 40s.
Wow, great. Are they in good shape?
Yeah. I mean, they're okay. They've been scuffed up a bit, but the sound is there.
Okay. Well, what I ended up doing was going through those 6 or 7 discs, determining which ones are going to have the best sound. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about the crackle and all that kind of stuff. I'm just listening for the quality underneath that.
Right.
How the vocals are, how the music sounds, that kind of thing, because I can work with that. I ended up using a disc set that I bought, and then one that we bought a copy of from another collector, Doug Hopkinson and myself bought. And actually, I used a couple pieces from the Evolution reel to reel. It came out in 71, 72 when it first came out. The record company that put that out.
Oh, Audio Rarities.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't Audio Rarities. This is the one that came out after that. It was better sound.
Whatever.
Yeah. So I used a couple lines out of that because some of the discs that I had were missing lines, even though they had lines that nobody's heard before on them. So, I mean, there was a whole thing of trying to match lines and getting everything set together to make a complete program, which we have now. What it allowed me to do is I can separate different elements of the recording and get a decent separation where you don't get a bunch of artifacts or anything. That was a problem in the beginning, not so much now. So I can get a separate track that's just the music. I can get a separate track that is just them speaking. And I can get a separate track that is basically the noise or the effects. And then I go through and restore each one of those tracks. And if there is anything wrong with the way that the dialogue is going, like if it's missing syllables or something like that, that typically happens if there's no noise left. It doesn't sound natural, so you always got to leave a little bit underneath. And then you take all those pieces, throw them into a multi-track recorder, put them back together, and remix them. Essentially, that's it.
Okay, well, that's kind of into the weeds. We're already into the weeds. So let's kind of bring it back to someone's reality here, which is the
I'm
person.
sorry about
No,
that,
that's
but I just
okay.
kinda...
That's okay. I asked the question, but we want to bring it back to the reality of giving some little sample to our listeners of a little bit of before and a little bit of after. So I guess first we'll give you a minute or two of before restoration, and then we'll give you a minute or two after restoration, and then I think we should just play the show so that people, if that's all they want, they can tune out after that and let us go down further the rabbit hole after that. So what you're going to hear next is a little bit, I think around a minute or two. We'll leave it to producer Daniel as to how much he actually uses of this, but a minute or two of audio of the original as we have it, Quiet Please. It's called Nothing Behind the Door. It's the original first program of the series. And once that concludes, we're going to come right back and go right into that same minute or so restored. So you can hear that. And then we're going to pause.
Read it again.
Wait. The public forbidden to pass beyond this fence under severe penalty.
See? I see what he means. He didn't say anything about the law.
Oh, that's right. Well, then, there are other penalties.
Oh. Tough guy, huh?
No, not at all.
Well, what does it mean then?
I'll give you a little friendly advice. I wouldn't try to find out if I were you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Do you really know what's in there, mister?
Yes.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, lads. Let's go get that beer.
Read it again.
Wait. The public forbidden to pass beyond this fence under severe penalty.
See? I see what he means. He didn't say anything about the law.
Oh, that's right. Well, then, there are other penalties.
Oh. Tough guy, huh?
No, not at all.
Well, what does it mean then?
I'll give you a little friendly advice. I wouldn't try to find out if I were you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Do you really know what's in there, mister?
Yes.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, lads. Let's go get that beer.
Okay, so there's before and there's after. And we'll go back to the discussion of this after we hear the actual program. So for those of you who are not interested in all this technical talk, here is Quiet Please as restored by Corey Harker and I guess SPERDVAC, or maybe it's just you, whoever. Corey Harker, Quiet Please, Nothing Behind the Door. The date on this is June something, 1947. Is that right, Corey?
Yeah, that sounds right.
June something. Okay, well.
June something, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date. I don't
know either, but we'll post it on the thing when we actually put it out there. So this is the complete restored version of Nothing Behind the Door.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents the first of a series of new and unusual dramatic programs written and directed by Wyllis Cooper and featuring Ernest Chappell.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. It's like 6,800 feet above sea level. A little house, maybe 20 feet long, 15 feet wide. It's made of corrugated iron sheets with a high peaked roof. It sort of hangs over the edge of the mountaintop, with nothing but the spikes of pine trees stretching all the way down to Pasadena, better than a mile below you. you ever get out to California? Well, if you do, go up there sometime and take a look at that little house. But look at it through the fence that surrounds it. That's far enough, through the fence. You go out Foothill Boulevard toward Pasadena, but you turn off on Angeles Crest Highway at La Canada. Just keep on driving uphill. You'll get there. Just keep right on going. The top of Mount Wilson is the end of the highway. Did you ever look through a big telescope? At the sky at night? At the things up there? Things so far away you sprain your brain just trying to imagine how far away they are. With nothing between you and them? Billions and billions of miles of nothing? I don't know what it does to you, but, brother, I freeze. Listen, do you know there are holes in the sky? No, I mean it. I've seen them. There's a thing in the constellation Andromeda. No, wait a minute. I'm not going to get technical with you. Just listen. There's this thing, astronomers call it the Horsehead Nebula. You know what it is? It's a hole. It's a great big patch of nothing. Just nothing. There aren't any stars there. There's just a hole. No, nobody knows anything about it. Astronomers look at it, they take pictures of it, and there it stays. There it is now and tomorrow and the next day and 1,000,000 years from now, and it's been there always. Yes, it has. It's so far away that what you see now is the way it looked 1,000,000,000 years ago, before there was anybody to see it, friend. And there's lots more of those places. So what's all this got to do with a little house up on top of Mount Wilson? I'll tell you. This was quite some time ago. I'd been living in California, see, for several years. I had a couple of bucks, had a nice little place near Venice. That was before the valley got to be so popular with movie people, radio comics, people like that. And it wasn't bad living alone, waking up in the middle of the night hearing the Southern Pacific lark whistle for a crossing out around Chatsworth, listening to a dog howling way out across the valley, going back to sleep. I don't get back to sleep so easy these days. Well, these people from Cleveland were out there, Aldo Minucci and Hugh Grant. We used to be great friends, Aldo and Hugh and I, so nothing would do but they'd come to stay with me. That was all right. I had a Dodge convertible. The boys got quite a kick out of California. That's how we came to go up to Mount Wilson that day. Aldo and Hugh had been, looking around for odd places. They had some ideas. So one day we were having breakfast, and they were looking at an automobile club bulletin. Aldo said, "Let's go to Mount Wilson." So we did. I'd been up there once before. You know how it is in California. I knew everything. I thought I knew everything. I found out different. We were inside the big dome where the 100-inch telescope is. It's like being inside a giant's watch. The telescope is in the middle, a big spidery framework with ladders climbing all over it up under this dome. The tourists stand on the kind of a catwalk around the edge while the astronomer explains as much as he thinks the Appalachians will understand. There were just a few of us that day standing close to the little kind of pulpit, listening with our mouths open. Yeah, it is like a pulpit. I got to thinking that day how the astronomer looked like a priest up there. A nice old white-haired fella like a priest. And I was thinking he was talking about the heavens, too. I'd seen it all before, but my mouth was as wide open as Hugh's and Aldo's.
And the Earth is moving through space, too. It moves around the sun at the rate of about 18.5 miles per second. So therefore, you see, we must, in order to keep this telescope focused accurately on the celestial objects we are observing, neutralize those motors mechanically. The telescope itself, as you will observe, is controllable in any direction by this motor. Watch it in the field. Notice the motion of the telescope. And the final movement, the rotation of the entire dome exactly synchronized with the speed of the Earth through space. Watch through the shutters above the field.
Look at Ross.
Yeah, I see.
Look outside. We ain't moving. The sky's gone by. Look at you.
I see it.
It's an optical illusion, Aldo.
No, it's not an optical illusion. In relation to space, this spot we are on is standing still. Through these motions here in the dome, the mirror of the telescope is kept aimed exactly at one spot far out in space.
What's space, mister?
It's nothing.
What about the air?
There are a few miles of air, my friend, and then nothing.
Oh, stars.
Yes, stars, and the places where there are no stars.
My skin twitched a little when he said that. The places where there are no stars. Did yours? Well, the show was over. We went outside into the sunlight. We walked across the long wooden bridge. There's a deep gully in front of the dome. And down a little path past the thing they call a coelostat. A small dome on legs about 100 feet. Thing they study the sun and sunspots and things like that with. And it was quiet up there along toward the middle of the afternoon. There was a chill in the air. We were just talking. It's an odd place, and you get kind of impressed. The people impress you. The astronomers. They live up there all by themselves. They look at the sky. They see things. You always get the feeling they know a lot more than they're telling. Like doctors. Like priests, I guess. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Well, that's what they're like. The path leads through the woods. Biggest live oaks you ever saw. Leads through the woods over to the old hotel. So I said, hey, how about a beer before we start down, huh?
A beer. That's for me.
Can I get hard liquor up here, Ross?
Oh, I don't think so. Anyway, I wouldn't want to drink, not with all that mountain road ahead of me.
No, sir. Don't you take no drink, Ross. I don't want to ride that road with nobody's had a drink of liquor. Maybe you shouldn't have a beer, even.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Beer won't hurt me.
Hey, what's his fence for?
Oh, I never noticed that before.
That's quite a fence. A hard time getting over that.
What would you want to get over it for?
I don't know. What do you suppose is on the other side where they got this heavy fence?
I don't see anything. Except that little house out there on stilts.
Yeah, funny-looking place.
Fence goes right around it.
Ain't there a gate?
Oh, come on. Let's get a beer.
No, I want to look at this, Ross.
Probably they got something valuable in there.
Sure, scientific instruments or something. This place is all full of that stuff.
Hey, look. Sign.
Huh?
Where?
Here.
Oh, come on.
Oh, wait. What's it say?
The public is forbidden to pass beyond this fence under severe penalty.
That all?
Yeah.
What do you suppose they got in that place?
I don't know. I don't care.
Hey, there's a door up at the end of that trestle. Maybe we could get back and get in through that other shed where the trestle starts, huh?
What do you want to go in there for? Oh, come on. We got to get
Oh,
going.
I'm just curious. You know what I mean. Place might come in handy.
Oh, yeah.
See? Especially if they keep everybody out like this.
Well, the thing must be full of stuff, like Ross said, scientific stuff.
Yeah, might be, might not be. Hey, here comes that fellow that made the spiel up there.
Well, ask him. He'd know.
He won't tell you.
Well, we'll find out. Hey, fella.
How are you?
Hey.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah. What's in that funny-looking building?
Over there? Nothing.
Yeah?
What's the idea of the fence, then?
You don't want people to go in there.
Oh, I'd sure like to see what's in it.
Said there's nothing in there.
You sure, mister?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure.
Could we get a pass to go in there, maybe?
No, You saw the sign, didn't you?
Yeah, it said something about penalty of the law.
You didn't read it very carefully.
He didn't read it. I did.
Read it again.
Wait. Public forbidden to pass beyond this fence under severe penalty.
See? I see what he means. He didn't say anything about the law.
Oh, that's right.
Well, then.
There are other fellows.
Oh. Tough guy, huh?
No, not at all.
Well, what does it mean then?
I'll give you a little friendly advice. I wouldn't try to find out if I were you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Do you really know what's in there, mister?
Yes.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, lads. Let's go get that beer.
Well, of course, you know what was up. You're way ahead of me. My Cleveland pals weren't in California just for a vacation. There was a bank I'd had my eye on for a while out in Pacific Palisade. It wasn't the first bank that Minucci and Hugh Grant and I had worked a deal on. I didn't go much for this place up on Mount Wilson with nothing in it and a fence around it. Aldo and Hugh, well, after all, could you find a better place to stash away some dough? Nobody could get in, they said. And if we could, well, so I bought the idea finally. And to make a long story short, we took, I think it was $53,000 out of the bank. 53, 54. Now, what's the difference? We're all gone now. It's a long drive from Pacific Palisades over Sunset Boulevard, then up Beverly Glen to the valley, through Van Nuys to Sunland, down past the sanitarium on Foothill Boulevard to where you turn off on the Angeles Crest Highway. A long drive, especially at 1 o'clock in the morning. That was when we pulled out of Pacific Palisades. It was summer. If after you turn on the mountain road, you're not allowed to smoke. You see, a fire warden might come along, and those guys can tell somebody smoking in a car a half mile off. They throw you in a can for it, forest fires. Now, we didn't want anybody stopping us. It was risky enough anyway, because practically nobody ever drives up there late at night. Well, early in the morning, I mean. Well, we didn't meet anybody. All three of us were jittery with no cigarettes. That road. Tough enough in daylight. Oh, in the dark. It was 4:30 when we got to the top. The hotel was dark. Cabins were dark. But the sky, just like soft with stars. Why, you could put in your reach up and touch it. I remember the old guy in the 100-inch dome. Nothing between us and the stars. And down below, and if you've ever been up there at night, you know what I mean. That's like looking down at stars. The lights of 17, 18, 19 towns. Pasadena, Los Angeles, Hollywood, Van Nuys, San Fernando, Culver City, Santa Monica. It makes my hair stand on end when I think of it. And I haven't seen it for never mind how many years. Well, we stumbled through the pitch dark. We got off the path 3 times, nearly fell downhill. Brother, that'd be a fall. We still couldn't risk a cigarette. It was dark. Hugh Grant was in front, then me, then Aldo. We each had briefcases. Hugh had a pair of those big spring wire cutters that'll go through a steel cable. All of a sudden, he bumped into the fence.
Ouch. What's the matter? The fence.
Where are you?
Stand still, will you?
It's dark.
Shut up. Listen for a minute. Hear anything?
No.
No?
See anything?
No?
Look.
What?
The dome over there.
You see somebody?
No. Them 2 big windows up there. But that big round dome looks like somebody watching us.
Sure does.
Oh, cut it out. I'm going to try the fence with the cutters.
Want the flashlight?
You chump. No.
I wish we...
What?
Well, forget it. I just don't like that place.
Now get out of the way.
Want to help you?
Just keep out of the way. Wait. Hear anything?
Well, that wire made enough noise to...
All right. I'll try another strand. See if you can slide under there, one of you.
Me. No, can't make it yet.
I'll try another. I'll look out for your arm there. Now try.
Wait till I take off my coat. All right, now, let's see.
Well, how about it?
He's through.
All right, go ahead.
Me?
You.
All right. Cut another strand, Hugh.
I'll make it now.
I guess so. Yeah. Where are you, Aldo?
Right here. Come on, Joe. Hey, slide the briefcases through first.
Coming up. Got him?
Got it.
Here I come. All set.
All set.
I'm all set. I'm as all set as I ever will be, I figure. I don't like any part of this place. I don't like the dark. I don't like the stars up above us. I don't like the lights down below. I don't like the silence. I don't like climbing around the top of a mountain with nothing under me but thin air for a mile or more. All I can hear is Hugh and Aldo in front of me, cracking through the weeds, cursing when one of them whacks a shin against a sharp rock.
Listen.
All I can see is two black shapes in front of me. Blacker shape, that's the building, the little house with nothing in it. Aldo and Hugh are panting. 6,800 feet, you know. Your breath is pretty short. It's tough going, especially when you're dragging a briefcase full of money, too. And you're scared and sweating and tired. And then all of a sudden, we're under the building, alongside one of the struts that hold up the little trestle.
Loosen me up, Aldo.
Aldo boasts him up. He was a little guy. He's spry. A lot sprier than I am up there a mile in the air, and I guess he's not as scared as I am. So I look up, and he's sprawling on the trestle with 9 million stars behind him, reaching down to me.
Have my hand, Russ.
I scrambled up. I never know how I made it either. Here we are in a second. Aldo's up there with us.
Now, keep quiet a minute and rest. So, look out.
Yeah. You hear anything, Joe?
Just the wind. Russ.
No, I thought I heard something. Guess it's just the wind.
Listen. It's the wind. Well?
So we stood up. So Hugh walked the rest of the way down the little trestle. We followed him, stumbling over the planks. There was the door. He rattled the bar on it. It was padlocked. So Hugh took the big cutters and he wrenched away at the bar. He shivered there in the cold, waiting to see if anybody heard us. There wasn't a sound. So Hugh tried again. And the bar fell off. We kept still for another minute. And then...
Open the door. Hey, where's the flashlight?
Wait.
Nobody can see us. Put your fingers over it and turn it in there.
Okay. I don't see anything.
Well, the guy said there was nothing in there.
Can't see a thing. Open up the light a little more.
I got it open. It's all black in there.
There's something the matter with the light.
Oh, there ain't. Look.
Turn that light off me.
Well, look now when I shine it inside.
Nothing.
Well, there's got to be something in there.
Nothing, the man said.
Can't even see the floor.
Well, I'll find out if there's anything in there.
No, don't go in. Can't tell what's liable to be.
Well, look out. I'll toss the briefcase in.
No. Throw the wire cutters in.
Where are they?
Here.
For the love of Mike, look out, will you? Keep still. You'll wake up the dead. Well, nobody heard us, I guess. A shot with luck tonight, no kidding. I'll give you them cutters.
Here.
Shine the light in there. Sure can't see anything, can you?
Throw 'em in.
Oh, get out of the doorway. Keep the light in there.
Go ahead. Throw him against the far wall.
All right. Look out.
Where'd they go?
Tossed him hard enough to bounce. Move the light around. I can't see a thing.
I can't either. They ought to be. The light just kind of seems to...
Oh, cut it out. There's probably some kind of stuff on the floor. Powdered. Maybe they fell into it. Here, stand to one side, Ross.
What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm going in to look around. You got a gun, Aldo?
Just this little 32.
All right, come on. Ross, you stay here and watch and listen.
I wouldn't go in there, Hugh.
Nobody asked you to. I'm going. Come on, Aldo.
Now listen, you.
You got the screaming Mimis, too. Come on with that gun. There's nothing in there.
Look, Hugh. Come on, let's get out of here.
Oh, shut up. Yeah. Might as well take the dough, too. We can stick it in there. Go ahead, Aldo, with the light.
You go first.
All right. Now stand there and keep your ears.
Hey, Hugh. Where are you? Can't see him.
Listen, Aldo, don't go in there.
I got to. Hey, Hugh. Hugh. Where are you?
Listen, Aldo.
Keep your eyes and ears open now. We'll be right back. Hey, Hugh. You all right? I'm coming in, Hugh. Hugh.
Aldo.
What's in there? Hey, Hugh. Okay, Ross. Something's the matter with him. Here I come. Hugh. I'm gonna...
Hugh. Hey, Hugh. Aldo. Hey, what's in there, you two? Hugh.
I can see you. You can stand up now. They won't come out, I assure you. Come on, son, stand up.
I've got a gun.
No, you haven't. Stand up.
When my friends come out...
They're not coming out, my friend. Stand up. You wouldn't believe me when I told you.
What's in there? What's in there, I said?
I told you there's nothing behind that door.
My friends went in there.
They're not there now. There's nothing in there. You understand me? There's nothing in there.
Listen.
No, you listen. No, I suppose you do no good to tell you.
Tell me what?
I'd better show you.
Show me what?
Come with me.
No.
Come with me.
I won't. You've got to... Wait. Wait for me. Across the little trestle, away from the door he closed on my friends. Through another door. Into a long shed in the dark. And I was glad I couldn't see the stars. Out another door at the end of the shed. Down the path past the coelostat, reaching up into the skies, shining in the starlight, looking like one of those visitors from Mars you heard about on the radio. Across the little wooden bridge with the two eyes of the 100-inch dome staring down at me and a cold wind coming up the other side of the mountain. And up the ramp, into the dome itself. And up the iron stairs.
Follow me.
A little yellow light at the head of the stairs, and then out on the catwalk in the dark with the floor 40 feet below us. Up another ladder. My legs are getting tired. Up.
Follow me.
Up another dizzy ladder. And another. And across another spidery walk.
Here. Sit in this seat.
I can't speak. My throat is dry. My legs are trembling. I'm icy cold in that great dome. How far above the floor, I can't tell you.
Sit still. You won't fall.
What did...
Sit still, I said. You'll have to be sure. Wait. Magnetic declination. You can look now.
Look. At what?
Look through the telescope.
No.
Look, son. What do you see?
Stars. Millions of stars.
Wait. Look again. What do you see?
Nothing. Nothing.
Watch. Now?
Stars again. Millions. No, a black cloud.
Now?
Nothing.
That nothing you see is 1,000,000 light years away.
What is it?
There's nothing there to see. My friend, there are scores of places in this universe where there's nothing. Far places, near places. You understand what I mean?
Is that what you meant when you said...
When I said there's nothing behind that door? Yes.
Well, where?
Your friends? Your misguided friends? I don't know. Perhaps. Take your eye from the telescope. Wait. Look now, if you dare.
Well, what?
Look.
Yes. You guess what I saw. You guess what I saw clawing through black clouds of nothing. You guess what eyes I saw. I saw nothing. Yes, the little house is still there on Mount Wilson. You can go look at it if you want to, but don't go too close. Maybe somebody will tell you it's just a place where they store equipment. Maybe. Why do they keep the door locked then? Well, just one other thing. Don't you go around opening doors you don't know anything about. There might be nothing behind one of them.
You have just heard Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Wyllis Cooper. The man who talked to you is Ernest Chappell.
And the man who played Aldo Minucci is Martin Lawrence. Hat O'Malley was Hugh Grant and James Van Dyke, the astronomer. The music was composed and played by Gene Perazzo. And now for a word about Quiet Please for next week, here is our writer-producer, Wyllis Cooper. Bill?
I've written what I think is an exciting and unusual love story for next week, Chappie. We'll welcome as our guest the charming star of stage and radio, Claudia Morgan.
Quiet Please for next week is entitled, I've Been Looking for You. Until next week, then, quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
All right, that was Nothing Behind the Door from Quiet Please. Of course, weird, crazy, and, oh, wait, we have a date. We have a date. Nothing Behind the Door, June 8th, 1947, from the Mutual Network. And, of course, that is Ernest Chappell, the man who spoke to you. And as I alluded to earlier, it was his wife who provided these original transcriptions to be copied. And so that's what we have. All right. So now we're going to go into the weeds. Okay, you've described what you do for your restoration, and we've heard a 30-minute example of it. I'm going to bring on Joel Tefteller now, and he's going to explain to you in his way what we do on restoration, and then we're going to get a couple samples of that. and then we can go into a full-blown trip down the rabbit hole. So, Joel, back on the Good Old Days of Radio show, tell us about what you do with audio restoration. Tell us where you learned to do it and what you're doing.
Hi. So yeah, I do the restoration. Honestly, it's close to what you do, but yeah. So I learned how to do this for American Epic, like my father said earlier. I was taught by Peter Henderson. He was a big producer over there.
Well, hold on. Peter Henderson was not just a big producer.
Oh yes, Peter
Henderson was the producer of the legendary album by Supertramp called Breakfast in Hollywood. And he was also Paul McCartney's engineer for a while in the Wings period, right around the time of Speed of Sound and Band on the Run, that era. And Peter Henderson learned his techniques from Jeff Emmerich, who was the Beatles producer going back to the Revolver days. So anyway, he had good training from good quality people.
Yeah, so it was pretty much me and Peter locked in a room for like 6 to 8 months, just restoring 150 blues songs, or I guess I should say every genre of music that American music from the 30s, late 20s, early 30s, and we kind of just sat in a room and declicked for hours and hours and hours, and it was something. But yeah, either way, that's how I learned how to do this, and then I've now adapted it over to these radio shows, which I find to be more annoying. It's easier to do music than to do talking. Just, I don't know why. I guess because there's more frequencies in music. I'm not sure. But just when there's just people talking and there's so much more room for noise, and it gets troublesome. But we find a way for it to work, or at least try to find a way for it to work. And I mostly just use, again, Isotope RX. I just get whatever the newest one is. I update it every year or so, and then it gets a little better each time, kind of. But enough. But I literally just millisecond by millisecond paint out every single click that exists. We don't really use the automator. I use it sometimes, but usually only after I've already spent hours declicking it on its own, or denoising. I don't really use the denoise function, I guess, but like it's there. But yeah, it's painstaking, basically copying and pasting frequencies next to it to make it better, millisecond by millisecond by millisecond. And by doing that, if you don't use any automation stuff, you don't get the warble on the voice, because that's my biggest thing, is making it, you use too much and it sounds like they're talking underwater, and that's crazy. So I can't handle any of that. Yeah, with what we do, at least, it has a heavier noise floor, but as you said, you kind of can't get rid of that without losing too much. And we lean on the side of more noise than not noise, and some might not agree with that, but I think it's better because your ears will naturally tune it out after 20 seconds anyway, to a point, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, as long as we keep it to where if you A and B these things, the voice should sound borderline identical. There should be no warble, there should be nothing, which the example I brought should be doing that. Yes, you will still hear some of the noise, but it won't be clicking noise. It'll kind of just be like a heavy noise floor. But it still retains everything, and the voice still doesn't sound unnatural. It does, and even like the one I'm showing, it still almost sounds unnatural to me, but it's so minor that I can kind of get over it. But it hopefully will sound better once I'm done with it. I'm still constantly tweaking, I guess. But right now, that's where it stands.
With people like us.
Yeah, it's just because every time I'm never happy with it. Even like the stuff that we released for the American Epic documentary, I'll go and listen to those and then be like, I could have gotten rid of that little bit of a that's there. Like there's always something, and it will always drive me mad.
Yep, I agree.
Well, to kind of put it in a little different way, he's talking about removing things. Somebody explained it this way. They said it's like cutting your mowing your lawn with a pair of tweezers instead of a lawnmower.
Yeah, there's a good analogy where it's like, because we're using, again, like a spectral analyzer. So like you said, it's like you're looking at a photograph. It's like you're using Photoshop. You can see, it's like someone sneezed on a picture, and you can see the snot, and you just have to get rid of it by like copying the non-snot parts and putting it over it, basically, but by fractions of a fraction of a fraction of a second, that it's not noticeable.
Right.
And you can do that naturally, but you have to do it. Computers and any of the automated stuff, none of it, as far as I'm concerned, can do it. Like at a rate that like without messing up at all. Like there's always something. So like it's just the hours and hours spent to do it. It could take like up to 2 hours to do 10 seconds and it's still not even done. So it's just brutal. Yeah. But it does make it sound good, and it keeps the basis of all of it still there. Like you don't lose anything if you're not getting rid of it ever. It's still there. You're sometimes taking aspects of it and moving it, but it's all the basis. I hope that kind of makes sense. I don't know. I kind of ramble on this stuff.
Well, the one point that I want to emphasize is when you said it takes hours to do a few seconds.
Yeah, like I'll spend hours on about half a second sometimes. If it's that bad of a spot, like, yeah, you can kind of just do an automator or like just mute it or something, or like just lop off the top, but like that doesn't work. If you can get in and literally, because every big static is just a bunch of tiny little clips, and as long as they can get rid of it, which sometimes it can, sometimes it doesn't, it's always different. Every single click is a different problem, even on the same song. It's like nuts. I don't get it, but I know that it happens. So yeah, I don't know. It's just you sit there and you zoom and delete and zoom out.
Are you following this, Corey? I assume you are.
Oh, yeah. No, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you want to spend like hours and hours for 10 seconds of a Quiet Please show?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's bad enough, sure.
Okay. Because that's what you're up against, really. If you're going to really go at this, it's like, man, it's going to suck up time. Just curious, how much time did it take you to do the half-hour one that we just heard?
That actually took me a week.
A week. Okay, well, I think the way he does it, you're looking at like 6 months or something. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. It like I was saying before, it totally depends upon what you're working on, right? And like he was talking about, music's completely different than doing the voice stuff,
right?
Yeah, I think some of the tools I use might actually help you guys on your end as well, that you may not be aware of. So I'll send that along later.
Okay. Since we're to the point of, we heard some example of before and after on Quiet Please. Let's do a before and after. Okay, Marx Brothers fans, wake up. Your turn. This is the legendary Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel radio show that everybody's been clamoring for the last 80 years. And we do have a number of them, and they are being restored. Joel's been working on them for how many years now?
A lot. Consistently and full-time, like this past year mostly. But I've been working on it off and on like for a very long time.
Okay, so we're gonna hear an example of before restoration. This is just a raw transfer off the disc. It was done by Nick Berg of Endpoint Audio in Burbank, California, who I consider to be the best in the business for transferring vintage material. Nick is not cheap to work with, but Nick is brilliant to work with. And he did the original transfers from the aluminum discs, and then the files were given to Joel, and he's working on the restoration. So let's hear a little bit of the original discs, and then we'll play you Joel's current state of restoration.
Faster, Willie, faster. We're getting nowhere.
Hey, I know can paddle any harder. Why don't you get up off of your back and help me for a while?
I'm sorry, Billy. I didn't mean to be critical. You're doing fine. But I wish you'd get past that tree on the bank there. I'm getting sick of looking at it.
Hey, boss, look. I work, but the canoe, she stands still.
I've got an idea. Maybe if you untied the rope, it might help. You know we're passing to that tree.
And I thought I couldn't paddle because I didn't have a paddler's license. Here we go.
Faster, Willie, faster. We're getting nowhere.
Hey, I know can paddle any harder. Why don't you get up off of your back and help me for a while?
I'm sorry, Billy. I didn't mean to be critical. You're doing fine. But I wish you'd get past that tree on the bank there. I'm getting sick of looking at it.
Hey, boss, look. I work, but the canoe, she stands still.
I've got an idea. Maybe if you untied the rope, it might help. You know we're passing to that tree.
And I thought I couldn't paddle because I didn't have a paddler's license. Here we go.
Okay, so now that you've heard what we do, Corey, what do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic the way that's being done. I really do. I mean, because when you hear the original, boy, that one's got a lot of clicks in it, and I can see why it's you're going through what you're going through.
Yeah, and that example is probably a good middle ground. We have ones that are much worse, and then ones that are better than that, which is I think common. But either way, that's a good like middle ground example.
Sure.
Those transcription discs, which are 12-inch aluminum, were just destroyed over the years to the point where some of it is, before restoration, almost unlistenable. And now
Wow.
after I don't know how many hours, years basically, he's got most of them to where they are now listenable and actually pretty good. So,
Yeah.
All right. You've heard, Joel, you've heard Corey's stuff, and Corey, you've heard Joel's stuff. Why don't you guys go back and forth? And Joel, what do you hear in Corey's that you think could be improved? And then Corey, you see if you come up with anything that could be improved from what you heard of ours.
Yeah. Well, I guess with mine, I'll start with what I was impressed with first. I really liked the tone, because that's something that I haven't done any part of on the restoration. As I've assumed, listen, you went back at least, and I assume used AI or something. You could tell me, but you have a nice rebuilt tonality of the voice as if it's more of a modern recording, which
Right.
I really liked. I thought that was really neat, because that's something that I keep trying to do on my end, and I just haven't really. I'm not focused on that part yet. I'm more focused on denoising and declicking at the moment. But the rebuilding of that aspect, I thought sounded really nice. Did you use a special tool for that? Because it doesn't sound like the same as if you're just cleaning it up. It's like you're adding
No,
something.
I use the
Yeah, like
special
what are you
tool.
doing there?
Yep, I use a special tool. That's one of the plugins I was talking about earlier, and that one is very important for bringing back the dialogue, like I was telling you about, and it kind of even it out. For example, like the War of the Worlds stuff, I can match EQ most of that stuff and get it where it sounds close, but when you put it into that plugin, it sounds universal across the board when you're finished. But again, it's another one of those things that you just don't want to use too much of, because then it
Yes,
sounds
of course.
artificial.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was something that I feel like I was hearing a bit of the warbly stuff going on in some of this Quiet Place things. Especially whenever it's near the beginning, but some of the syllables or sibilants of the S's and th's, like when the help showed up or whoever it was, someone showed up and started talking. And that's where I
Yeah.
noticed it the most. But it was just interesting about just because I assume, do you run through automator stuff? I know you're talking about doing the separating of the tracks and then recombining them. Is that something you did on this file too, or is that okay?
Yes. Yeah, I did. That's how I'm doing all of them at this point now, because I've come up with a formula that works. And like I said, it took me 5 years to get there. But yeah, I mean, you can dissect these things down to so many different layers and work on just a certain section of noise. Okay. So you have your music, you have your dialogue, you have your effects, you've got the noise tracks. But let's say you want to take that noise down even more, you can process just the noise track and it'll separate it into two other tracks where the system thinks it's crowd noise. I use that one because that mimics the most of what normal static would be off a disc. And then you can actually turn it down and then export it, take some of that noise and just back it off. It's like a multi-track recorder, basically. You could take some of that volume down, export just that track, and start working on that alone by doing the stuff by hand, right? Like the clicks and whatnot. And then when you get it all together, I mean, when it's all finished and you hit you're right, the vocals could have some processing on them. Besides that, I added a little bit of AFX on that as well, just a touch, to kind of bring it back to life, because as you know, things do get dulled down. And just a touch of that works really well. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's as you've gone through this as much as I have, it's really dependent upon the audio. And if I can break these things down into these certain elements, then I can find out what the biggest problem is and then take care of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joel, proceed with anything else you have for him as a suggestion.
I mean, yeah, I don't really have too much. I just know how I do things and how I sit there and declick stuff. But like, it's kind of similar, I think, to what you're doing. So similar ideas, at least, just different methods, I suppose.
Yeah,
but,
it's just however you figure out the best way to do it for what you're working with.
Yeah, because it is every single sound file you get's different. Like we have the same show, but it's on 8 different discs, and each disc has its own problems. Have to do each one different, even though it's the same recording. Technically, it's like pretty crazy.
Yep, that's exactly what happened with War of the Worlds. And I think when this is done, you're going to find out that it actually sounds like one cohesive show. So.
Yeah, well, that's what we're aiming for as well. Although with the Flywheel Marx Brothers shows, there's only one set of discs for each show. We don't have any duplication whatsoever. It's just that even within that one set of 8 parts on a 12-inch disc, each of the discs has a different sound.
Oh yeah, like one of them's like, yeah, it switches mid-sentence, which is so rough to have like something sounding pretty good, and then mid-sentence it's on a new disc and terrible sounding. Or vice versa, it sounds pretty good, and then it swaps to something that's just awful within a fraction of a second, and it's very jarring. And I'm trying to fix all that, but it just, no fun.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It isn't fun at all. But once you get it done, though, you just feel like you really accomplished something.
Yeah, it is nice at the end when it finally stops, if it finally stops.
Yeah,
but then even still, again, like I talk about it, even if I look back to stuff that I quote unquote finished and is released and out on the internet or whatever, I'll listen to it and be like, oh, I could fix it. I could change. I could make it better still. So it's like it's never ending, and that's just it's a rough job.
You and I are pretty much alike in that respect. Yes, I get it because I hear stuff too. It's like, oh, I missed that, or I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, Joel, is there anything else from your listening to Corey's transfers that you would suggest to him or ask him about? Anything?
Not necessarily. It's just I thought it sounded pretty good as a whole. I did hear the warble stuff that I don't like very much, but I mean some of that is just hard to get rid of without. I don't know if it's just manual stuff or less automated stuff or not doing. I don't really know. I just know that I can hear it. And it's not in the original one, so I know it was added later. But sometimes you just can't do anything about that. Like I have stuff where it shows up on mine where it's like, how do I get rid of that? So it's just really tough, and it's just you just keep working until you think it's done for you, at least your own ears. But
that's absolutely right. I mean, you keep learning as you go along too. It's not like you just figured the process out and it's done. I agree. There was definitely some stuff there. I was trying to quiet it down a little bit, probably too much. That I learned on the second one I did, and then as I'm going along with the War of the Worlds, like I was talking about, keeping a little bit of the noise floor there.
Yeah, it's so tough because that's one of my hardest things is because you don't want the noise floor. People don't like the noise floor, and like I don't like the noise floor. But once you get rid of it, it's like, oh, it becomes dull. So it's like, well, you have to have it, or else, it's just kind of weird. And then, but it's like,
things don't sound like they should. It sounds artificial, and I think that's where some of that warbling comes from. Too.
Because it's like a digital noise that's put on top of it by trying to get rid of other noise. It adds a different noise. So it's
right.
It's like you're fixing a problem with a new problem, and it makes it difficult.
Get some warble and some shimmer in there, right?
Yeah. So it's like what's the best medium? Like you're gonna have to have something. It's whether so.
Yeah,
like
the easiest thing to clean is a direct copy from a disc.
Oh,
really?
Yes.
I mean, it is. when you're dealing with this stuff from different tapes and whatnot, that's where you get into the whole have to, match EQ and whatnot, which is one of the best things that in RX that I found is the match EQ settings in there because I can, that works
those
really
are pretty
well.
good. Yeah, I've been quite a fan of RX, honestly, or Isotope. It's like my main one. Every time I try using other things, I don't like it, and I just go right back to RX. So it's like, I guess this is sponsored by RX, but not really.
The Good Old Days Radio Show, brought to you by RX, the prescription for your best quality sound.
So hopefully they'll send me a check soon. But
There you go. Right. Well, maybe they'll just send you the free copy of the next version that comes out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I do get discounts on it, but I don't get frees. Freebies, please.
No, that's the other thing. Software is very expensive.
People don't understand how much this costs. And a lot of people I know would just throw up their hands and say, well, as long as I can hear it, that's okay. But I can't do that. I can't live like that. And I don't think that's what a real preservationist does or what a real preservationist thinks like. You want to go for the absolute best at all times. Corey, do you use any form of cedar?
Actually, yeah.
Because we have tried it and didn't have much luck liking the results.
Yeah, we tried it on the American Epic set. So mostly Peter Henderson tried it, and I was there. So it's not like I got to personally ever really use it, but I was around, and then we decided to stick with RX on that. But it was very interesting. We used both the programs and like a rented box, like the big cedar box thing.
Okay.
What kind of cedar are you using? Like just a program?
I'm using the plugins. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
They come from Studio. I think it's Studio 8, and then I just purchased all the icons that just came out. Those are nice because you don't need a dongle switch.
Oh yeah. I guess my Pro Tools, I need my little what is it? Dongle? It's called something.
It's iLock.
There we go. Yeah, an iLock. Yep.
I like Cedar in Pro Tools because they have a couple tools that you can't use anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like they have things that you can go the length of a scratch rather than, and it's manual, which I also like, but it's not, it works really well for that type of cleaning up. But anything that if they're automated stuff, I have to tell you, I'm in the same boat you are. Not really that impressed. I think as far as declicking goes, I think probably RX is the best. Here I am giving you all this software information.
I think there's a bill coming with this podcast.
Because I use those ones, but because I'm happy with my RX one. I do like the fact that you got some really good tone in it. I was very impressed with the tone, and that's mostly kind of what I'm trying to then look into. I like where I go as far as audio cleanup goes and stuff, but your tone was quite snazzy.
Yeah, and I liked what you did with the Marx Brothers stuff. I thought that was fantastic too. Taking it from what I heard, the first part of it was like, wow. I mean, that would drive me nuts if I went.
Yeah, and all of that was done like manually with minor automation done after tons of manual work was done to it. It's mostly like there's a little bit of decrackle done after a ton of just interpolation and all that jazz.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad that at least processed on your end, though.
Was there anything in what you heard on the Marx restoration so far that you would suggest to him?
The only thing, and he hasn't gotten to it yet, is the vocals were a little flat.
Yeah, see, that's my biggest issue. So that's why I need to maybe look into some of the stuff that you were using, maybe.
But that was my point here, was to get you two guys together to talk about this, and it would benefit both of you. And I think we've accomplished that today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to talk to someone else who at least knows what I'm talking about, because people ask me what I do, and I'm like, well, I restore stuff, and I have to zoom in. It looks like a picture, and they're like, what are you talking about?
Right. Well, I can see us exchanging emails down the road going, what are you doing for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's mission accomplished for this, and I don't know how much further we need to go into anything. Joel, is there anything further you want to go into with this?
I mean, not necessarily. I feel like we covered the basis.
Okay, we probably put a bunch of people to sleep. We probably had a bunch of people tune out, but the ones that stuck with us, boy, they learned a lot, we hope. So. Yeah,
well, one thing I hope to do is we're recruiting people for SPERDVAC to do disc transfers for us using basically a set of order of operations. The equipment has to be the same. The style I have to be the same. Everything. Right. The setup.
That's
good. So while we're doing that, we're also going to do a tutorial on how to use the tools to clean up the audio the way we want them cleaned. So I don't know how that's going to go, but luckily we have a couple filmmakers on the board now, so that'll help. Um, I'm just hoping we could, yeah, I'm just hoping we can recruit people. We're thinking about purchasing some decks, transcription decks for people who are really, going to commit to us. I don't know exactly how we're going to do that part of it because, people sometimes get overwhelmed. But
Well, yeah, you need to very carefully screen anybody who you're going to get to do this to make sure that they are really dedicated to the cause. And there's a number of questions you can ask that'll ferret that out. And then the second part of it is, do they have the time? Because
right.
it's very easy to say, yeah, I'll do this. And then you start and life gets in the way and things drift and then you never finish and it becomes basically a useless waste of time. And you don't need that. You want people that are on it and willing to do it. And unfortunately, whether the old guard of SPERDVAC, who's not much around anymore, whether they want to go along with the idea of paying some people to do this, that certainly will go a long way to get it done rather than expecting everybody to do everything for free.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to. I mean, that's something we've talked about and discussed as well. I mean, there's certain things that we need to do professionally and we can't do it ourselves, but then we need to outsource,
Yeah,
And
well, and it's nice to have conventions, it's nice to have meetings and all that, but that doesn't really help radio preservation as much as many people think it does. The real work is this stuff.
Right. Right. And if this stuff is going to be around 50 years from now, we need to do the work now.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to do the work. And there'll be some improvements in programs and everything else down the line to make it easier. But I don't know that there's going to be that much come along that's actually going to make it better. I think it'll just make it easier to accomplish rather than spending 50 hours on a half-hour radio show. You might only have to spend 10 hours. So
right.
I don't know, but whatever.
I keep telling people disk space is cheap. So if you're going to record something, do it at 192K, 2432-bit. Yeah, it's a huge file, but that's about the closest you're going to get to an analog signal in digital. So
yeah, and you could always go down from there, but you can never go back up. So
right,
that's
exactly.
a good call.
Yep, exactly. Because most of the record guys like 96, but I take it all the way up. So
nice. If you have it, do it.
If you have it, do it. Yeah, the more you can do, the better, and the more you're willing to do, the better. But boy, it's a matter of time, and that's where I think SPERDVAC is doing very well in this grant approach and things like that, because you've got to get the funding to make it happen. You can sit around and wait for volunteers for 40 years and wind up with something, but not what you would wind up if you actually had real people doing real work and being compensated for it.
Yeah.
And that's the preservation aspect. I mean, the Library of Congress pays people to transfer discs. I think UC Santa Barbara does. There are a number of places that do it because they know they have to. If they don't, and they're stored improperly, which they're really not at the Library of Congress or anything, but if the discs are stored improperly, they're deteriorating every day.
Right.
It's a battle that you'll never win unless you start and you do it right from the beginning.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. Now that we finally have we have two large, very large storage units that are climate controlled.
Right. The previous SPERDVAC units were not climate controlled. They were baking in the Southern California sun.
Yeah, and they were sitting next to a railroad track, which raised dust, right? So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was not a good scene. The original house that they were in, and I think it was a little house over by the airport, was better, but they got rid of that. So,
yeah,
whatever. Anyway, it's all positive to me. I'm very happy with the way everything's going. For those still hanging on to every word of this podcast, Corey, why don't you plug SPERDVAC one last time, and then we'll wrap all this up.
Yeah. If you want to become a member and see what we have to offer, we do offer free memberships. It doesn't give you a whole lot of access to anything, but at least give you a taste of what we do. Just come to SPERDVAC.com. That's SPERDVAC.com. And you can sign up for a free membership. And then if you so feel, go ahead and sign up for one of the different tiers we have. And I don't know how much longer we're going to have a tiered system, but at this point we have tiers. If you want full access to everything, you'd want the biggest tier. So if you have any questions, there are our email links on the page as well. I or our membership our membership guy Sean Doherty will handle it. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Corey. And you should know that this podcast will be posted not only on our site, but I'm also going to have producer Daniel go over to the Marx Brothers sites on Facebook and post it up there.
Oh, that's
as
wonderful.
well.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And thank you for all you do. Thank you to Joel for all he does.
Yeah.
And I think we learned a lot today. I hope the audience stuck with us, at least some of them, and that they learned something as well.
They're probably going on Google going, what is this?
Yeah, what is it? What did I just listen to? But anyway, whatever. It's there because we wanted to give people a chance to hear some of these examples as to what's being done. Now, obviously, to do every single radio show like this is such a monumental task that I can't even imagine that it would ever get done. But if we pick the shows that are important, and I know that's a judgment call, but if we pick the shows that are important, that need this kind of thing, and concentrate on those, better than nothing, better than doing nothing. So, yeah.
Right. Yep. If you do the proper disk transfer to begin with, there's not a whole lot of work you'll need to do. I was just going to say, unless the disk, of course, is in terrible shape, or
as they tend to be.
Right.
Well, not all of
Armed
them.
Forces discs don't seem to hold up very well.
All I know is all these Marx Brothers ones haven't been very good quality. So that's all I'm working on.
Well,
they've all been rough.
You're working on the 1930s, which is the worst period of all to work from.
Nobody knows.
By the time they got to the 40s, the recording techniques were better. The discs survived in better shape, and it's a whole new world. But that's for volume 2. For volume 1, we're doing all the 30s stuff. And we've been working on it since, 2014 or something?
I mean, I got on the project in 2016.
Okay.
But again, it wasn't full-time up until very recently that it's been committed to working on only this. It was just kind of half happening and half doing other things. And now it's like, oh, just got to knock this out. So boom, it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Okay. Because a lot of people have said, wait, you've been saying it's coming for 10 years. Well, takes time.
Yeah, it is like 40 hours. Like it's like hours of material. So it's just to sift through that and declick it it's a mountain of work. But it's happening. It's happening.
All right. Well, Corey, thank you so much for being here on the Good Old Days of Radio show. Joel, thank you so much for your contributions here and explaining to the audience what you do with your things.
Yeah.
And we may do something like this again in the future. We'll see. I'm not sure how this will be received, but hey, it's different. So we'll let it rip out there and see how it goes. But it'd be a pretty big audience for it if they stick with it. All right. Thank you, Corey. Thanks for appearing.
Thank you.
All righty. And this is John Tefteller in the Good Old Days of Radio show. We will be back next week with something else. Or next Thursday. I don't know when this is airing, but whenever it is, we'll be back. Bye.